Happy Saturday. I had the best start. I actually got to go talk with a group this morning all about health and wellness and how to make it easier and natural. And it kind of ties in with the topic I mentioned a couple of days ago. I've been thinking a lot about how and where I started this whole journey of being a trainer, being a nutrition coach, and Carrie and I have been talking a lot. Kinsey, hey, you have water inside. We've been talking a lot about um, restarts and how everyone's restarting during the new year. And then, you feel like you fall off the wagon, or you do fall off the wagon, right? And then you turn around, now you've got to hop back on. So now you're restarting on Monday. And I was guilty. I was totally guilty of that. Man, I went through gobs of plans, diet, exercise. At the time, I had been a coach for youth teams for a really long time, thanks to my dad. Um, and I thought I knew everything, and it turns out I didn't know shit. I really didn't. I knew a lot, but I didn't know functional, applicable practices, dietary things, physical aspects. I didn't understand how crucial and how impactful, negatively so. Hi, Kathy. Um, I didn't understand how impactful that was until I changed it. And literally, I mean, I will never forget the very first nutrition thing that I was asked to do. Okay. Asked me to take a baked potato, no sour cream. I had to get rid of my sour cream. I was not happy. I was not happy. I was not a happy camper. You love your cheese, you love your sour cream, you understand what I'm saying. But I was asked to get rid of the sour cream on my potato. I could keep my baked potatoes and I could have 3 that week, right? Or the for the 2 weeks, because everything we did was 2 week intervals, or 2 week program and plans. It's part of the reason I do it that way now because of how we grocery shop typically, common commonalities, right? So anyway, what she told me was I could have my baked potatoes 3 times that week and 3 times the next week, but I could only top it with cottage cheese or ricotta and salsa. And not like a little bit. Like I had to put a lot of salsa on my potatoes. She actually sent me a picture of what she did. And this was before photos were a big thing. This was when they were charging us for images to be sent through our phones. Okay. So she sent me a picture of what it looked like. And I remember being mortified. I was like, I'll just eat the sucker plain. And the look on her face, you can't eat a potato plain unless it is a sweet potato. And what we were talking about was russet potatoes. Okay, now if you've talked to me for any length of time over the last like 5, 10 years, you know that I no longer eat russet potatoes. I stick with red potatoes because their chemical breakdown within our body is actually pretty complex. And because of that, they are the healthiest, in my opinion, of all the white potatoes that are out there. Okay. Now, sweet potato is still better, but I mean, truth be told, I didn't start liking sweet potatoes till about 6 years after I lost weight. So, and that's kind of where I wanted to talk with you about all of this stuff going on with Carrie and I and these restarts. And, it takes me back to those early days where I was making all these small changes. And I didn't think about it. I was just like, all right, whatever. I'm just going through the motion. I made it where I need to be. I need to just work out. I wasn't trying to put a lot of stock into losing weight because, quite frankly, I didn't think I could. I thought I'd hit my max. I thought I was going to have to be happy there and just make a life in, the size 12 body. I'd made it to size 12. All right, we're just going to go on from here, right? Well, that obviously kept going. I did not say size 12, but it happened so naturally. I was so focused on just the one thing I needed to do that week. That was all I was focused on. And then I think so when I saw the mirror, it had been It had been almost a year. It had been like 9, 10 months. I remember looking at the calendar the other day when I wrote it and I was like, I remember this. And I remember it being a long time, and it was like 9 or 10 months after I'd started working with Shauna. And it was literally like one of those, like you walk by and you're like, oh, yeah, inspiration. Inspiration right there. Like, you go into like a lot of these business coach communities, right? These groups right now, and they're telling that you want to brag and you want to do this. And if you haven't hit these certain levels, then use other people's brags and wins as testimony. That's an example. That's something that can actually happen in this world. So use that as an example. Well, that's basically what I was doing. And when I walked past and I saw my legs, it was like, oh, that's awesome. Look at those legs. I want those legs, right? And the reality is, when I understood whose legs those were, the tears were almost instant. Like the welling up was almost instant. But what took me a minute was figuring out that I had gotten to that place because of all those small, tiny little changes that happened along the way. And it's the greatest reason, and it's the biggest why behind why my programs are designed the way that they are. And when I met Carrie last year, she had her own journey, but her why for why her programs are designed the way that they are was so similar. And then I went and I participated in her program last summer and I kept adding my little elements into it. And towards the end, we're like, okay, we need to just combine forces. Like I can't participate in every single thing. So we need to just combine forces because this is something that everybody could use and actually benefit from, whether you're in a membership, whether you're just in the free community, whether you are in one of our private programs, because Wild Free Health isn't going anywhere. And I want to make that very, very, very clear. The 90-day program that Carrie and I have combined forces on, that occurs after you have healed whatever is happening. If you are in turmoil, if you're struggling with things, you still need to do the work to be in balance for your body to be able to go into ketosis, which is effectively where weight loss happens. That does not mean I'm putting you on a specific diet plan. We're not talking about that. Ketosis is a place where you lose weight. That's it. But you need to be in balance to be able to do that next step. This is that next step. And I've been meeting a lot of people over the last year and a half, 2 years, that they've already done the work. They just need the help to like kind of push them over the edge a little bit. And where I've been able to work with them privately, now we have the whole shebang. Now it's like everything's come full circle. It's all come about. And I'm so excited because like the feelings that I had when I realized that all those tiny little steps I have been doing made such a tremendous impact on my health, my wellness, my energy. Like I was still going out all night, you guys. But when I woke up the next day, I still felt energetic. I didn't want the sugary foods. And the same thing happens now. Like I'm not a big chocolate fan. I know, shocker. Like I'm not. I know a lot of you guys are, but I'm really not. And I like some sweets, but I don't like candy bars. Like it's just my downfall, honestly. Brownies. I mean, even ice cream I could resist. It really isn't that hard. Um, so it's the little things. And that is the one thing that I take away from my experience. And when I look back, I don't see the struggles. I remember some of the tiny little steps. I see a few of the struggles, but like from the outside perspective, kind of from that place where you're like, okay, I know this happened, but it doesn't feel like it lasted very long. And when I work with clients now, I see reality. And for a lot of cases, the challenge doesn't last very long. And once it's overcome with tiny little steps, always tiny little steps, you guys might think I'm lying, but I promise you, ladies, hop in the community. You will see exactly what I'm talking about. Talk with one of us. I mean, even the Wild Free Health team, they'll all tell you the same thing. We all share a very similar philosophy: small and consistent, small and steady. However, you want to phrase that: steady, small, short. Be the turtle, don't be the hare. Because the turtle won the race, remember? The hare was going so fast, so intensely, he had to take a nap. If you take it slow and steady, it doesn't take over your life. It just becomes an integral part of your life, which is how it becomes natural. It's how it becomes just a daily part of your life. And that feeling is undescribable. And it's something that I always strive for with every single person that I talk to, with everyone that I work with. Doesn't matter. I'm striving for that because I know how much of a struggle it is to include those things that don't feel natural when life hits you in your core. And most recently, I would say the first year of the boy's life, I think Brian and I both look back and go, what happened? When did that happen? Because it was just a lot. It was a lot. It was an extreme change to our diet, extreme change to our life, and had a lot of those things not been natural for me and for him, we would be in a much different place today. We really would, health wise. So, it's the thing I think I want to make sure to really get into your heads today, because I know it is Saturday, and look, I am outside. It's a little chilly. Well, for me, a little chilly, but I'm getting my grounding in. I am doing it so I can reconnect to nature. I can keep that going before we have like big freezes next week. That I'm gonna literally come out, put my hand on the ground, and go back inside. Like that's what's gonna happen. Um, but the one thing I want to kind of get into you is that feeling that I had, or get across to you. Let me rephrase this: is that feeling that I had when I saw those legs is how natural, how seamless almost. It's like it almost just blended. It wasn't like I purposely added all this stuff in and I had to catch up. It just blended and kept going. So while you're going through your week, and here's one of the things I told the group this morning and something I tell a lot of people: as you're going through the next week, pick out 3 things you can improve. Don't worry about restarting. You know what? I'm having a cup of coffee, right? If I go in and decide that I want to have another cup of coffee, but I don't really want to have another cup of coffee because that's not really healthy, that would put me at like 3 plus, and I shouldn't do that because I don't feel it's healthy for me. And I'm debating this. That's a restart because you're making a new decision. We restart every single day. We restart with every single decision. We don't need to make a big dramatic to do about it. We just need to put a couple of things in place so we can start down the path that we really want to go down. And you can say 2025 is your year. You can say January is the one to start. You can say January 6th. You can do whatever. Whatever gets your butt moving is fine. That's totally up to you. But let's stop with the start, stop, start, stop. We don't need to do that. Let's figure out what your top 3 are, and then let's find one non-negotiable and just get you on the path so we can start melding some of those healthier habits so you can get on that healthier road. Sound good? All right. I'm cold. The dog wants water. We are going inside now. Cheers.